walk through the valley, the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, knowing that I have been put here for a purpose, some good, some bad. Whatever struggles, whatever turmoils, I will have to fight through. Can't make it into the kingdom without fighting the foe. With all the BS going on, hope I can right my wrongs before death comes and takes me out of here. For I'm gone, put it all in this song, universe. Please forgive me for not using everything good that you put within me. I'm a renegade against the system, that's why it hates me. Lesser of three evils, beat me, shoot me, or mace me, tase me. That's all they've been doing lately is shady. Got us normal folk thinking we crazy. Like Pac said, got me trapped, use me for profit. Evil entities who control us will never stop it. Instead they lock us in shackles, put us in jail cells, closed coffins where bodies become skeletal shells. Down where the maggots dwell, they get up in your flesh, take bites out of your life until there's nothing less. Won't say I'm blessed now, I'll say I'm stressed out. It's hard to stand up tall when I'm feeling pressed down. World on my shoulders, it's heavy, I'm feeling stressed out. Pull the jokers and aces and get the decks out. People wanting my all, I'm giving less now. Streets is chaos these days, I'm feeling pressed down. World on my shoulders, it's heavy, I'm feeling stressed out. Pull the jokers and aces and get the decks out. People wanting my all, I'm giving less now. Streets is chaos these days, I'm feeling pressed down. Peace, blessings, salutations, Yarima Karama here. Real life, real talk, these are the days of our lives. That's a track called Press Down off my new album that will be coming out in early July, titled Up From the Trenches Out of the Tombs. 18-track album. I'll be giving you some more info on that. So real life, real talk. I wanted to touch on this subject, and well, I'll let you listen, and then we'll go in.
I'm here to tell you it isn't. And the reason I'm going public with this, as obviously a white guy, is because, in the black community, black folks can talk to other black folks about this, and they can say things like, yeah, there's a racial targeting genocidal agenda of the medical system, and some other person might say to them, oh, you're just saying that because you're black. I'm saying it, and I'm white. I guarantee I'm white, last time I checked. This is real. This is happening. The black communities are being specifically targeted by the medical system. The black communities disproportionately suffer under the mass poisoning of the water supply. And also, by the way, of the food supply. That's a whole nother discussion. But if you look at the food that is available in black communities, typically, it is food that is almost engineered to cause cancer, to cause diabetes, to cause heart disease. It is food that is essentially poison. And you don't find the same types of food available in the inner city, predominantly black communities, especially if they're low-income communities. And so the options are completely different. And I know I'm probably going to get some hate on this video from some white folks saying, I'm stirring up racism. I'm not stirring up anything but the truth here. I'm telling you what I see as an investigator, as a human being. I cannot stay silent and watch this agenda of poisoning of any children, whether they're black or white or Latino or Asian, you name it. It is criminal no matter where it's happening. But I just have to notice that it is.
So I was a person reached out to me. A good friend of mine reached out to me and wanted to expose me to this video and wanted me to talk on the subject. So I just wanted to show you a portion of that. First of all, this guy, what he's basically doing is he's talking about he goes into a few different scenarios. He's talking about the poisoning in Flint, how it's basically designed, how these lead levels, and he works in a facility where he deals with different chemicals, different leads all the time. And he says that basically lead is one of the biggest forms that, or one of the
main things that you can have that causes like memory loss, that causes autism. He basically says that with the lead that they were putting in the Flint water supply, or the lead that was found in the Flint water supply, they were basically trying to dummy down the black population there in that community. He also went on to talk about DC and how they did the same thing in DC. And he makes the statement that, and you can go to the video. It's Mike. His name is Mike Adams, as you saw. The video is simply called Extermination. And so just punch in Extermination, he'll come up. Not the video games, but his actual YouTube feed. But basically, he was basically saying, like in DC, they do the same thing. And of course, it doesn't affect the politicians in the bureaucracy, because most of them come in and, you know, shuttle in and then go back to their lavish lifestyles in these upper rich communities that they come from. So, but my point is first of all, they've always experimented on us. So we've always been experiments. And he goes in to even say that there was a guy named Fareed, a doctor named Fareed in Chicago, in Illinois, and how this doctor would basically lie, diagnose black patients with cancer so that he could give them radiation treatment, or I believe, radiation treatment, and that cancer treatment. And basically, this guy's collecting millions of dollars because he's charging extra because of the treatment, which he's a false diagnosis. Most of these people didn't even have cancer, so he false diagnosed them, gives them this treatment, so he's able to charge the Medicare, he's able to charge Medicaid, and he's doing business with the cancer treatment facilities that make these products. So they're selling him the products, he's marking them up. So anyway, they said there was a whistleblower involved, and the guy gets 45 years, which he probably should have gotten life or the death penalty, if you ask me. Because when you're a public servant like that, and this is what I'm talking when we talk about public servants, and the people have put their trust in your hands, and then you mislead them and basically lie, and not to mention the lives that were ruined because of this doctor perpetrating a fraud. But in any case, I wanted to talk about the subject and bring it up because we have real health problems in this country. And a lot of the health problems, some of them are self-induced, but a lot of them are not. A lot of those, I mean, when Prince talked about, and these other people talk about chemtrails, that's real, which is why they just outlawed them, I think, up in Vermont or New Hampshire somewhere. They just outlawed them and said no more chemtrails. Well, why would you outlaw? And then for a long time, they were trying to lie and say that they didn't even exist. And so you have these doctors and you have these pharmaceutical companies, and people get mad when I compare the pharmaceuticals to the drug dealer on the block. But to me, they're one and the same. I don't see any difference. I don't see none whatsoever, because their job is profits. They could care less about saving lives. They really could. And their job is profit margins. And they're in the process, you have to understand that with any type of drug, but specifically pharmaceuticals, that's what we're talking about, because we're talking about like how these bureaucrats purposely, like they did in Flint, purposely knew that there was lead in that water supply and weren't going to do anything. And like this guy, Mike Adams, said, he said, had it gone uncontested or had nobody said anything, they were looking at doing this for another 10, 12 years. And so without this type of exposure, but the point is that these companies, they put out these medicines and they experiment on people. They experiment. I got friends that I know for a fact they are experimenting on. And I tell them, you have to be very careful. You have to read and research and Google and read and get to the books and find out exactly what it is that you're taking. Because the medicines, if they don't align with your body chemistry, it can mess you up. And that's what's happening. I got a friend right now, and they're talking about the weight problem, the weight gain that they're getting simply because of the meds that they're on. But the doctors are leading them to believe, well, you have to be on the meds, and but they've been experimenting. They've been experimenting. And I think that we have to wake up and be cognizant of that. Get second and third opinions. I just had to tell a friend of mine that the other day about an attorney. Don't just go with the first one that comes up. You have to get second and third opinions. And we have to start looking at medicines and doctors outside of this country. I'm sorry. I'm adamant about that. We have to start looking at holistic approaches to curing diseases and illnesses. We have to start looking at holistic approaches, and we have to get back to an African-based holistic approach to healing ourselves, man. It's imperative because these people are just trying to make money, and it ticks me off. It ticks me off because they'll lock somebody up for the most menial of crimes, but they're the biggest criminals on the face of the earth, and they're making trillions. The pharmaceutical company just in this country they make billions upon billions upon billions of dollars, man, off of people's, and claiming some of these are false diagnoses. Some of these are false negatives they're given. False positives. Come on, man. They're playing games with the lives of the people. And so this is why I wanted to expose this. And I'm glad for the friend of mine who inboxed this information to me and wanted me to speak on this because, at the end of the day, man, they're trying to wipe us out. It's a control thing. They're trying to get our kids specifically, and he talks about that in his video. Like I said, it's if you don't do anything else, go to that. It's about 17, 18 minutes, but it's very informative. And it's, to be, me, I keep it real. There are black people who don't believe anything unless it comes from a white guy. Well, or unless it comes from a white person, period. Well, that's a white guy telling you. So, and I hate to say it like that, but it's real. I come face to face with that on a daily basis, unfortunately. So, but the thing is that we have to be cognizant, man. We have to be cognizant. I don't take any medicines. I don't take none. I don't eat any meat except fish, and I'm even bagging up off of the fish and just periodically. And the veggies, that's even becoming a problem because we're getting to a point where we have to grow that ourselves. But you just heard what he said about the food supply in the black community and how that's hurting us. It's design. This is by design. This is not by happenstance. This is all by design. So we have to be aware of that and remember about the black women and men that they experimented with. We talk about syphilis and the Tuskegee experiment, but remember all the black women who were experimented with by white male doctors. And they didn't even give these women any anesthesia. Read the history on that. These people are experimenting, and they're using these drugs to experiment on us. Well, experiment on others, because I don't take them. I'm very adamant about that, man. I'm very adamant about that because I know it can alter your whole state of existence. And then you'll start falling into it. Look at our children and the autistic rate, the ADHD. That's not all. And look at the size of our children. Because of the steroids and the GMOs and the food, man. It's crazy how you got young 8 and 9, 10-year-old girls looking like grown women, man. And we act like we don't see it. We act like it doesn't exist. Fuck out of here, man. Come on, man. Yurima Karama. Peace, blessings, salutations. Connect with me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Go to my webpage, www.yurimakarama.com for booking info, for messaging, or if you want to find out my performance dates and locations. Also, we got to do better, man. We got to do better. We got to slowly start backing up and start to step out of the matrix, man. And I know it's difficult. I know it is. But we have to wake up, if not for us, for our children. So with that said, peace, blessings, salutations, one, I'm out.